Homeownership for suckers. Really, Todd? That's what one of our next guests claims in an article on CNBC.com. It was very popular this week, I will say.
Joining us right now is the man who penned that controversial piece, Todd Schoenberger, managing partner at Land Cold Capital. And here to take him to task, Fred Glick, CEO of U.S. Loans Mortgage. Good to see everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. So, Todd, what do you mean home ownership is for suckers?
Well, here's the thing, Maria. What we saw actually in the first part of the summer was we had mortgage rates that were actually creeping higher. So you had a number of agents going out saying the next housing boom was actually about to start. You had a number of people went out, they bought homes, they were sitting on the fence, and that was all fine and good. But now we look at the metrics over the last couple of months. We see that now you have existing home sales that are down, pending home sales that are down, and we can only foresee that means a trend that's leading into next year. Plus, you have to look at the ancillary factors of higher property taxes, higher maintenance costs. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense right now to go out and actually purchase a home unless you really want to start losing some money. So I'd say stay away from it right now.
I'm thinking, Fred, you're not going to be showing this article to your customers anytime soon.
Oh, you know what? I'll show it to him, and I just want to know where Todd's buying the stuff that he's smoking, because it's ridiculous. I mean, first of all, let's talk rates.
Well, did he say anything wrong? Did anything he say just now, was any of that incorrect?
The whole theory, yeah. Let's take rates. The Fed is not going to just stop purchasing mortgage-backed securities without knowing that the private markets are going to be there to pick up what they've been buying. It's not like it's going to and then everything's going to 13%. Let's start with that. Also, the numbers you've mentioned are true, but they're national numbers. I know in Philadelphia, San Francisco, Chicago, for example, and a bunch of people I talked to at the NAR conference last month, everybody is still busy. It's not insanity like it was in September. We had this tiny little run-up. But we're never going to see what we saw with this gigantic raise and then crash like we did in the mid-last decade, because there's no more no-doc loans, there's no more fraud out there. Everything is 43% back-end ratio. You got to come with down payments, etc.
Okay, Todd.
And Fred, let's add to that, though. Okay, you're right. You don't have the documents. You don't have the issues as far as giving away money and going in the back of some bank trailer and signing some documents. You're absolutely right. However, going forward, you have to suspect banks are not going to be out and lending right now. Look at the recent data. 1/3 of all home purchases are all cash buys. If you go into 2014, one thing that I didn't even mention in the article was what's coming out of this Dodd-Frank bill. You actually have people that if they can get a mortgage, they actually have to go through counseling before they can actually take ownership of the property. How many people, even if you get through the criteria to actually qualify for the mortgage, are actually going to go through that counseling session? But let me tell you something. The maintenance costs, electricity, property taxes, everything's going higher.
Yep.
Okay, the counseling thing is just a small amount of people within some loans within FHA. FHA has not set their limit yet on what their back-end ratio is. We're also going to see people going into a 5-year arm to help qualify. The mortgages are not going to be as bad as it is. Yes, the 43% back-end ratio is for QM, but let me tell you, the private money is going to be in non-QM mortgages, non-qualified mortgages, where you can go higher than 43%. Yes, they're going to be at slightly higher interest rates, but you're going to get more people into houses because of. It's all going to equate out. People buy because they got a job and they want to plant roots. Let's talk the job market, and if you think the job market is going to disappear, it's under pressure, but it's flat. We're in a plateau.
Let's talk about
We're in an absolute plateau.
No, Fred, let's talk about those roots, because here's the thing. You have people that if they actually go out and purchase a home right now, they're stuck in the home. If you want to buy a home, plan on dying in the home, because here's the thing, you're never going to sell it. If you're going to be stuck in that house, you have to only assume that you're never going to be able to get out of it. So say you have a 5-year plan. Say you're in New York City and you want to leave New York and you want to live in San Francisco. Chances are you're not going to be able to sell the property unless it's at a fire sale.
Just curious, Todd.
I love the idea of home ownership.
Todd, do you own a home?
Todd, have you been?
I do.
Oh.
Okay.
I do.
So you own a home. When did you buy that home?
2006.
And you have a mortgage. So you bought at the top, is what you're telling us. 2006,
Yeah, I
that
did
means
buy
you bought
at
at the top.
Hey, I would love to sell it. Maria,
feel
I'll
like a
sell it to you
sucker?
for 50 cents on the dollar. Of course I'm a sucker. Look, the whole idea of home ownership is for the birds right now, guys. You don't want to buy a home because you're not agile.
Suckered in
You're agile.
2006.
By the
Let
way,
me tell you
I
something.
also
You're
bought
not
at the
agile.
top. I also bought at the top.
Also,
I bought at the end of 2006. But I'm not going to flip my home. I mean, if you buy a home now and you want to buy a home because you're going to be in it for the long term, then what's the problem? Rates are at rock bottom levels.
Okay.
Prices,
I will
while they have
accept
gone
that.
up a bit, are not at sky highs. So, I mean, you bought it in 2006, not with the idea to flip it.
No, let me tell you something. I did actually. I wasn't
you
planning on
flipped it.
staying. This is in Texas. I didn't want to stay in Texas for the rest of my life.
So you bought
you're
at
in
the
New
top
York, though,
with the
Maria.
intention of flipping it.
Wow.
Of course, not
I'd be
flipping it.
angry
I
too
wanted
if
to
I
get
were
out
you,
of it in a
Todd.
matter of years, though, in a handful of years. And how could you get out of it? Look, enough of my personal stuff. Here's the thing, though, Maria. You're in New York. You're not leaving New York,
Go, Maria.
though. But that is a small part of the percentage of homeowners right now. But going forward, guys, if you go out and buy a home, you have to anticipate that you're not going to be able to sell it fast. You also have to look at the ancillary costs with higher property taxes, higher maintenance costs. Do you really want to burden yourself? Probably not.
Okay,
Fred, you got the last word.
Yeah.
Fred, you have the last word.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have
the
the
last
last
word
word.
is
Come on.
Poppycock is the last word. Let's just go from there.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Good conversation.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Buy a home. So you bought at the top, did you?
I did. Well, I did.
Yeah. Well, but
But
you're
I
going to
love
be
my
there a
house.
while. You're going to be there a while.
I'm good with that.
Exactly. 40 minutes left of the trading session here. Look at that. We've got a rally going again today and another up week. 6 in a row now for the Dow.
And a record setter, for sure. George Soros and Dan Loeb, two of the so-called smart money in the investing world, taking big stakes in FedEx. But why? Is it a bet on the strength of the global economy, or could it just be the opposite? We'll tell you about it next. Stay with us.